At the start of the film, a couple is seen cycling through the forests of West Virginia. Unbeknownst to them, the antagonist known as Three Finger is lurking nearby, silently observing their movements. Waiting for the opportune moment, he releases an arrow that strikes the young man, causing him to crash.
Are you okay? Did you get in the fall?
Alarmed, the young woman rushes to his aid, only for Three Finger to fire another arrow that pierces the man through the mouth. Terrified, the woman attempts to flee, but in her panic she rides directly into a concealed spiked wire trap. The trap, held by two other killers, One Eye and Sawtooth, is violently pulled upward, sending her crashing to the ground. As she lies helpless, Three Finger approaches and gruesomely decapitates her. Following this harrowing sequence, the narrative shifts to Danny and Tony, who are traveling with a group of friends to a hotel. Days earlier, Danny had received a letter informing him that he had inherited ownership of the property and inviting him to visit. Excited by the news, he decided to bring his friends along. Upon arrival, the caretakers greet them, though it is evident they are displeased, having expected Danny to come alone. Meanwhile, an elderly woman is preparing to check out of the hotel when suddenly, an axe strikes her, killing her instantly. Moments later, the caretaker Jackson appears and twists her neck, ensuring her death. This chilling act reveals that checking out of the hotel means dying. Inside, Danny and his friends marvel at the antique furnishings and valuable artifacts, pleased that these treasures will eventually belong to Danny. As night falls, Jackson ventures into the forest to meet with three brothers. He reprimands them for killing the cyclist so recklessly. During this exchange, it is revealed that Jackson and the three killers are siblings, and that the other caretaker is their sister. The next morning, one of Danny's close friends notices Jackson scrubbing blood from the very spot where the old woman was murdered. Disturbed, she leaves without confronting him. Later, some of the group visits the local market, where they discover a wall plastered with posters of missing persons. The sheriff arrives and adds another poster, the same elderly woman who disappeared the previous night. Back at the hotel, Jackson shows Danny an assortment of weapons. Fascinated, Danny picks up a crossbow. Jackson suggests they go hunting. And together they head into the forest. Spotting a deer, Jackson begins teaching Danny how to hunt, though his true intention is to train him to kill humans. While Danny successfully kills the deer, Three Finger simultaneously hunts down and murders the sheriff. Meanwhile, Danny's friends grow anxious, particularly Tony, who is deeply concerned about his absence.
You need to go get Danny.
Now?
Yes, please.
Okay, Mom. They ain't gonna like it.
She sends another friend into the forest to search for him. That friend stumbles upon Saw devouring the carcass of a deer, panics, and flees. In his frantic escape, he collides with Danny, and both tumble into a pit. Danny becomes ensnared in spiked wire and is severely injured. He cries out for help.
You're bleeding. So you. Most of it's not mine anyway. We gotta get out.
And Jackson arrives to rescue him, returning him to the hotel. There, Sally, one of the caretakers, tends to his wounds, cleaning and medicating them. Tony soon arrives, prompting Sally to step away. The following morning, Danny flushes his medication down the toilet. A hypertension patient prone to anxiety, he had relied on the pills to remain calm. However, after experiencing the thrill of killing the deer, he discards them, believing he no longer needs them. At lunch, he announces to his friends that he has grown fond of the resort and intends to stay, manage the hotel, and oversee everything. His friends, however, are reluctant and wish to leave. Among them, two are particularly greedy. Enticed by the hotel's valuable antiques, they begin stealing items and, driven by avarice, explore further. Their search leads them to a hidden passage descending into the basement, where they discover a large, ancient spa.
Get the idea?
They would just have sex here while people stood by and watched?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, what are you doing?
While they are still investigating, Sally notices them. Shortly thereafter, events take a darker turn. The three brothers soon arrived and struck one of the intruders on the head, knocking him unconscious. They then savagely mutilated the girls, severing their limbs and killing one of them in a horrific manner. They attempted to kill the boy as well, but Sally intervened, ordering her brothers to leave. Afterward, she took the boy to her room and suffocated him with a pillow until he died. Meanwhile, Danny had undergone a transformation. He abandoned his medication and began living with a newfound sense of happiness, something entirely unlike his former self. Eventually, he was introduced to the caretaker's siblings. Jack, one of the caretakers, expressed his desire for Denis to meet the rest of their family. Denis agreed, and the caretakers led him to a secluded village deep within the forest, inhabited by numerous deformed individuals. These people, Denis learned, were his extended family. The caretakers administered a drug to Denis and explained the truth: the deformed villagers were not pure-blooded, as their ancestors had intermarried with outsiders. However, both Denis and Sally were pure-blooded. If they married, their children would also be pure-blooded, ensuring the continuation of their lineage. Like Three Finger and his brothers, they sought to perpetuate their kind through this union. Unbeknownst to them, one of Danny's friends was secretly eavesdropping from behind a tree. Saw discovered him and dragged him forward. The friend pleaded desperately for mercy, but Danny coldly denied knowing him, stating, "I don't recognize him." Three Finger then hanged the boy and slit his throat, causing blood to pour out. The gathered villagers collected the blood in cups, eagerly drinking it. Three Finger, however, was intent on prolonging the flow, continuing to cut the body further. Eventually, a cup was handed to Denis, who drank the blood of his close friend. The following morning, when Denis returned, Tony was horrified by his condition. She begged him to leave the hotel, return to the city, and go home. Denis refused, insisting, "You all go back, but I'm staying here." By this point, he was fully addicted to the drug Sally had given him. Later, the group entered the kitchen, where they witnessed someone chopping human body parts, frying them, and eating them. Terrified, they opened a freezer and discovered the severed head of one of their friends. Panic set in, and they attempted to flee, but the three brothers pursued them. Some managed to escape, but one was captured. The brothers forced a pipe into his mouth and pumped water at high pressure until his body shattered internally. Another friend, who had briefly escaped Three Finger, was caught in a bear trap. Immobilized, he was struck on the head by the brothers and killed instantly. Meanwhile, Tony continued searching for Denis. Armed with a gun, she eventually reached the basement spa, where she encountered Sally. A brutal fight ensued, during which Tony forced Sally's head underwater before shooting her. At that moment, Denis appeared, seized the gun, and checked Sally's condition. He then urged Tony to flee. As Tony attempted to escape, Jackson pursued her. A violent struggle followed, ending with Tony stabbing his eye with a key, killing him so brutally that his body was left unrecognizable. Just as she prepared to leave, Denis confronted her, pointing a gun at her. It became clear that he did not intend for Tony to survive, as she knew too much about his family's dark secrets. At that moment, Three Finger and his brothers arrived. Denis chose loyalty to his family over his friend, and Three Finger killed Tony. The story concludes with Denis now managing the hotel, welcoming guests as though nothing were amiss. Behind the scenes, however, visitors were being murdered and consumed. The final scene depicts the three brothers grinding human flesh, marking the grim conclusion. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Have a great day.